All right. We are rushing today, Allison. This is one of these long Shattuck days.
Yep. Crazy Shattuck days.
All right. I want to start here with the situation on the ground for Democrats and what we've got happening so far. Annabelle Linsky. She is of the Washington Post.
Okay.
Less than 2 weeks before the midterm elections, Democrats are trying to shore up the party's posture in final push. Now, hold on a second. And there's been a bunch of these articles around of Democrats either yelling at the electorate saying, "You idiots, we're trying to inflation isn't that big. Stop worrying about it," or saying, which is a great bit of message, I think, or saying we've got a situation here and we need to change up. So here is the piece in the Washington Post. Democrats on Wednesday pumped at least $6.3 million worth of advertising investments into a trio of congressional districts in New York and New Jersey, where President Biden won by at least 8 percentage points. In other words, they're not supposed to be spending money there.
Right.
First Lady Jill Biden spent the afternoon in Rhode Island.
Oh, yeah, that's a big problem for them, that race.
Yep.
Because it's like a really popular mayor running,
Yeah.
too.
First Lady Jill Biden spent the... he must have been thrilled to get her. Jill got... Yeah, you don't even get Joe, you get Jill. First Lady Jill Biden spent the afternoon in Rhode Island trying to help save a Democrat running in a district her husband carried by nearly 14 points. The president is headed to Deep Blue Empire State on Thursday, New York, where the Democratic governor is scrambling to avoid an upset in a closer-than-expected race that has put Democrats down the ballot in greater danger. And in Pennsylvania, Democrats were trying to move past a shaky Tuesday debate performance by John Fetterman, who is shaky. Yeah, shaky in a sense.
Shaky's one way to put it, that's for sure.
By John Fetterman, who's recovering from a stroke. Hadn't heard. One former party official relayed hearing from people who wondered why Fetterman agreed to debate during his recovery. The U.S. Senate nominee's once comfortable polling lead has shrunk in a race that party leaders have long seen as their best opportunity to flip a red Senate seat and take a step closer to preserving their narrow majority in the chamber. Less than 2 weeks before the midterm elections, Democrats have moved into a defensive crouch, scrambling to shore up the party's candidates as the Republicans charge deeper into their terrain. The scope of their challenge has come into sharper focus in the past 48 hours, when much of the attention in the party has been on protecting swaths of the country where Democrats have long enjoyed support. Late last summer, Democratic talk of going on offense by running on abortion rights while Biden's approval rating ticked up has run headlong into the harsh reality that Republicans are well positioned to make potentially large gains in November 8th, some Democratic strategists said, by hammering them over crime and inflation. You don't say.
Weird how those types of issues are what people really care about.
People look at stuff like these Wawas and these other places, and they look at the fact that they can't afford nice stuff anymore. That I'm noticing, better polished people who used to shop in the boutiques of Newburyport and beautiful little Newburyport. I'm noticing them next to me in Walmart now, and I think they're saying, "Wait a second, I'm now having to shop at the Walmart to buy clothes." Meanwhile, in big cities, they're letting thugs and punks steal in bulk from big stores in Saks Fifth Avenue, etc. And they're saying something is broken in these places. Something is going on here, and I think that, of course, your money and inflation. It's like January 6th. You're gonna say that?
No, they're like locked into this issue, and then they like act all smarmy and weird if you suggest that you care about how far your dollar goes at the grocery store while you're trying to buy food for your kids. They're like, well, that's not really going to matter very much if we lose our democracy.
Right.
And you're like, wait, what are we even talking about? What do you mean lose my democracy? What good does a democracy do me if I can't eat. Like,
right, if you can't enjoy the fruits of the democracy, and if you're in a casket, the democracy is not fun anymore.
It doesn't help you anymore. It's ridiculous, this assertion that, like, people, I get it. Like, we all like rhetoric about democracy, but people don't fundamentally care whether or not they live under a democracy. Through most of human history, people haven't lived in democracies. And through most of human history, like, the definition of what we call, I mean, I know everybody's going to go, okay, we're a constitutional republic, not a democracy. But, like, we're a republic with democratic elements to the way we do things, right? And most people throughout human history have, like, not voted on things that affect their lives, and they've just gone about their lives and been fine. The stuff that they care about is, like, whether they can eat, whether they can provide for a family, whether they can live a relatively safe and peaceful existence. Like, that's the type of stuff that people care about that keeps them happy and not overthrowing leaders. And you can, you can wax poetic about saving the democracy and, like, Roe v. Wade and the Supreme Court and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, like, you just need to make sure people can eat. And they're like, they act like this concern is somehow, like, short-sighted or stupid or dumb. Like, people with the economy stupid stuff. I hate this. Like, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You can be mad all day long and people are still going to vote for the candidate they think is going to put food on the table for them.
Absolutely. Multiple Democratic strategists said that fear of losing the right to abortion is proving to be a less motivating factor in blue states because voters believe their access to the procedure will be protected by current laws and Democratic control of state government. Which is, of course, absolutely true.
True. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, yes. You can price bargain shop if you're in New England as to what state is best for your abortion.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's funny because somebody replied that I was at the Jeff Deal event last night too, where I hung out with Fred Smirless, by the way. That. And like in one of the replies, some person was like, yeah, right, if Jeff Deal gets elected, he's going to take your rights away. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what do you think he's just going to become a king? And like, it's so dumb. It doesn't even like bear talking about. It's so stupid. You know what? Maura Healey is actually going to take your right to, like, a gas stove away. Do you care about that at all? Or is it only this, like, imaginary battle that you're fighting in your head with, like, Republican? I also heard somebody tell me the other day that there's a bunch of Republican states that no longer have an exception for life of the mother for abortions. And I was like, that's just not true. Everybody has an exception for life of the mother. They were like, no, it's not. A bunch of states now don't have that. And I was like, it's not true. That's not accurate. They do allow for the life of the mother in every single state. Some don't have rape and incest exceptions, but everyone has life of the mother. That's just a myth. If you can find me the example of that happening, then good luck. But it's not true. So, but everybody believes the craziest things. And I don't know. I give up. It's misinformation. Speaking of misinformation.
Well, hold on. But I think that we should also say that very rarely in 2020 did Democrats and their media and elites and some other people got sucked into it. Not only they pushed forward the cultural campaign of we have to defund the police because police are going around and killing black people, and it happened in almost every major city in the country, and it was performative.
Okay, don't
touch the wires. Performative. People.
I'm sorry, buddy. I'll give you some medicine one more time. We're almost done. Okay.
Okay.
His teeth are.
I'll erase that part.
What?
We can erase the delay in medicine.
But
what I'm saying is everybody in 2020, everybody who usually wouldn't even be political, was witness to the defund the police thing. Everybody saw the narrative. It was the biggest mini-series that took an entire summer ever in this country. Mm-hmm. In all of this destruction, all the mayhem, etc. Everybody saw the defund the police thing. So everybody saw, okay, here's the first, here's the what's that called? Inciting incident. Okay? And then everybody saw crime go through the roof and cities change forever. And the same people who virally saw George Floyd killed, virally saw absolute mayhem in the streets. So there's never been a time that I remember when there was such cause and then effect. Even like the Iraq War, when it went south, took a couple of years to really go south. But actually that hurt Bush, obviously, because it seemed like the Iraq War, all good, not good, you know? But I mean, too many people witness this stuff, and they witnessed Democrats running this, and they witnessed Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and these senators on one knee with dashikis on, or whatever those things are on, doing this stuff. They saw that, they said, whoa, so the Democrats are the people who do that, who want to get rid of the police. And now neighborhoods suck. Neighborhoods suck. And neighborhoods also suck for minority black people. So it's so obvious what a total mess this has been. And so they can't eschew ownership of this.
Right.
They absolutely own the crime thing. They owned it. They owned it loud and proud. All of them had black avatars during the 2020. All of them pandered. They imprinted it on themselves. They all have the watermark of 2020 on them. And people can see that, and now that people have a chance to they see the cause and the effect, and they have a chance to make a change. And they're going to. And with Biden, you know, if he didn't have the watermark of inflation on, well, they gaslit and lied so often. He said, I'm the guy who knows what he's doing. Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Washington, you know, the Banking Committee for 75 years. He knew what he was doing. He brought in the people who supposedly know what they're doing, and they had no clue. And then they gaslit people when people said, I think prices are rising. No. And then choking off the energy. It doesn't matter if gas prices are down to $3.29. They were at $2.29 when the last guy was here.
Right. And we've all seen it, and they're just like pretending like it's not happening.
Yeah.
I do think there's a way to like push some responsibility off of yourself and at the same time act empathetic, to say like, oh, like these global circumstances, blah, blah, blah. But if your approach is just to say like, there's no inflation, you're totally fine, stop complaining, your household balance sheet looks great, then people are going to be mad at you, and people are going to blame you, even if parts of the blame aren't fair, right? But to just say like there's no inflation, and if there is, it's from Putin, is not a strategy that's going to endear you to people.
Well, right. And now Biden's out there at the Wall Street Journal. It's a good piece on it. Biden's out there talking about mega MAGA trickle-down economics. Mega MAGA trickle-down economics. So I heard the commentary, people laughing about it today. Warning that if Republicans win, there's going to be mega MAGA trickle-down economics. They don't have the veto pen.
Right.
He does. So if any mega MAGA trickle-down economics come his way, he can just sign it away.
Also, by the way, speaking of remembering things, I think most people remember what the economy looked like under Trump prior to COVID. And if that's mega MAGA trickle-down economics,
right,
then I think most people liked that, you know, because things were just fine, and then COVID happened, and then Joe Biden happened, and now they are far from fine. So I think people know what Trump economics look like versus Biden economics.
And you've got in the local races, I think that you've got some people locally trying to say to the Republicans, Democrats are saying this, are trying to say, hey, we understand prices are high, inflation hurts, gas prices hurt, and crime is up. We understand what's, but it's being belied by the top, by Biden and the Democrats nationally. Their big messaging machine out of D.C. still is gaslighting you.
Right.
Still saying, no. And the Republicans are much worse, and it's our very democracy is at risk here. Our very democracy at risk. Can I get hamburger meat? Okay, while we're talking about the democracy being at risk. It's just.
Yeah, your CVS is burned down, but at least we saved democracy. Okay, great.
Right. You can't talk to people about Black Wall Street, Tulsa riots, without showing them how you duplicated it that same year. Democrats and their media, CNN was happy to say that it was mostly complete, peaceful, etc. as black neighborhoods burned. What you've done is you repeated the Tulsa massacre all over the place.
Right.
And it's happening all over the place. It's incredible. It's these people. It's just. I just think people have seen enough, and also it's a big fu to have John Fetterman up there.
Yeah, at some level, I almost think this is like a cognitive test to see like how brainwashed people are. Like, how horrifically bad a candidate can we put out there? Like, how epically unqualified a candidate can we sell to the voters and they'll still vote for him? If he gets over 40% of the vote, that's like a bad sign for humanity.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bad sign for like the fact that there's 40% of people who would vote for that.
And also,
where's the post-debate polling out of there, by the way?
is there not any?
I mean, there's like the
I
ones
thought I
they
saw
do.
one that it was a toss-up. Said it was a toss-up, like an MSNBC one.
Well, there's the ones that show like right after the debate, who do you think won or whatever. But in like the polling averages, the last poll that I'm seeing in any of the polling averages is a YouGov poll from the 21st to the 24th. So that's like when those questions were asked. So there's nothing since the debate that I've seen, which is kind of astonishing. You would think they would be interested in knowing, because that seems like a pretty race-changing event, don't you think?
Yes.
I think that debate is the type of thing that is going to shift the tenor of the race. I mean, there's got to be at least 5% of the people who watched that who went, whoa, this is not okay.
Okay, so the Insider Advantage poll, 1026, has Oz up 3. And before that, CBS YouGov was before the debates, had Fetterman up 3. Rasmussen had Fetterman up 2. But the Real Clear Politics average has them has Oz at 46.7 to Fetterman 47. So, yeah, it's quite a... I mean...
I cannot believe he is up in that race. I cannot believe he's up in that race. So, I mean,
Rasmussen
the last
has
one
Walker up 5. Kemp up 10.
Okay,
who's probably dragging Walker up.
Oh, okay, this is like from a few minutes ago. Right. So this has Oz up 3. I see where you're finding this story too now. Okay. But like
Vance
54,
up 5 over Tim Ryan. These are just
54% of the respondents said they thought Oz won the debate. Does that seem plausible to you?
No.
I mean, like,
no.
Okay, and to be fair, only 21% thought Fetterman won the debate. But like, what about those other ones? What are they doing right now? What is that other 20 some odd percent of people, 25%, I guess? Like, what do they think happened that night? I don't know. And then how can it still be that 45% of the state is voting for the guy when he's clearly unable to form a sentence?
How is Shapiro so far ahead?
Mastriano is like, he's one of the ones that
Well, I know, but all the other ones are all the other ones with antlers, all your buddies are all doing better now. Maybe he just sucks. I don't know that I've ever even seen
some
him.
of them are. He's like, I don't know.
And
I don't know that he's not great a candidate, but
yeah,
we'll see.
I don't even like the dude. Who's the other the Nazi lover, supposedly, according to the left, down in the
Blake
West.
Masters in Arizona. Yeah,
I don't love him.
I think he could win for sure.
Yeah, I think he will. But there's something about him that reminds me of a dickhead I used to know. I'm not sure. But Mike Carey Lake, A Star Is Born.
Yeah.
Talk
Oregon
about,
might have a Republican governor too.
How many Republican men do you think, through their sheer misogyny, would refuse to vote for her for president?
None.
Correct. Hot alpha chick president. Every Republican man is in on that. Absolutely. She's great. She's great. What's the problem with her? Oh, she's an election denier, right?
I think there's more women, honestly, that wouldn't want a women president than a man president.
I think that's another thing as well, is that the media got to enjoy early returns with all of this election denier stuff and using it to smear and destroy people.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it has a shelf life. It wears off. After a while, people are like, you know what? This election denier doesn't look that bad to me.
Well, yeah. And
by the way, you know what? There's also nothing wrong with being an election denier.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the left was election deniers for the 20 years before this. So
yes.
I don't understand why all of a sudden being an election denier is like a huge problem, right? It's clearly not an issue to have people. I mean, that's the point, right? In a country with freedom of speech and freedom of thought is that you can think people didn't win an election. That's allowed. Right? It's not disqualifying from anything. You're allowed to believe I don't, that 9/11 was an inside job. But you're allowed to believe it because it's America, and so you can go out and believe what you want, right? But people believe conspiracy theories about the Kennedy assassination for decades, and we didn't see them getting like fired from their jobs for believing in something that wasn't the official narrative, right? The left has been huge on Kennedy conspiracy theories, right? So we live in a country where you're allowed to believe stuff that may or may not be true. You're allowed to doubt the legitimacy of elections. You're allowed to do this stuff. And people on the left have just gone absolutely psychotically crazy. Someone sent me a story today from a local newspaper where it was like an editorial, and it was just like foaming at the mouth crazy. Like, the election deniers are going to be elected, and when the people come out to protest, the result, like, they think that the elections are going to be overturned by election deniers, that the Democrats will legitimately win, that the election deniers will overturn the results, take office, and when the American people come out and protest the changing of the election results and want the legitimate results restored, that the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers are going to be ordered to fire on the American people. So
yeah, sounds good.
That was published in one of our local newspapers as like an editorial by a person who works at the paper, like not an outside opinion.
Oh, that's the one you were reading yesterday. They kept saying,
reading it this morning. These United States, and I was like, "Is this
should we be reading this?"
I think I summarized it. I think they get the idea. It was insane.
It's terrible.
It was clinically, like, certifiably insane, and of course, it referenced January 6th, how the Proud Boys scaled the walls of the Capitol and assassinated police officers as a part of their organized insurrection in town. But like, you're just living in such a fantasy world that at this point, how can talk about alternative facts, right? You can't even have a conversation like that, because that's what they think is going to happen if they like elect a Republican congressman. That's like the whole scenario they have playing out in their mind. It's absolutely crazy. I don't know any other word for it. But yeah, like, how do you convince somebody like that to vote for a Republican? You can't, and I don't know how you can calmly coexist when that's what your neighbors think you are.
Right. No, absolutely.
They literally think that that's like what Tom and I are, and what we do in our spare time is like plot the overthrow of our democratic system of government. But it's just, that's as crazy, honestly, as anything that anybody in QAnon believes. And I know you like to make fun of me and my antlers, but and I'm not really a QAnon person, but I'm not. But I know plenty of people on the left who believe things that are just as crazy as literally anything in QAnon. So, but it's a free country. You're allowed to believe crazy stuff. You're allowed to believe that they're still going to arrest Trump at any moment.
Right.
Actually, Merrick Garland could arrest Trump at any moment, the way he's been going. He's actually a fascist.
Here's Ron Klain.
The Democrats are strong on the economy. They don't think the Democrats are strong on crime. How do you draw a line between the lives they're living today and the experiences they're experiencing, and what you say is to come, and the wins that have already been had by the Democrats?
Well, look, Mika, I think both are true. Look, I think that, as I said a minute ago, people are being squeezed by high prices. The cost of living squeeze on families has been with us for decades. It isn't solved yet. I do think we made some significant measures this year, which take effect next year, and we're going to talk about those. I do think also, I know some of the polling about the economy, I think, is also out of date since some of those polls were taken. Again, the price of gas has come down dramatically. We're seeing economic growth. We're seeing prices come down. We're seeing real income go up. So I think we have...
When you say that, all you're doing is assuring dyed-in-the-wool Democrats who are already going to vote for you. For people who have left you or are in the process of leaving you, saying, I want a freaking change, you're not... You're just contradicting them. You're telling them that everything is good when everything is bad. It is outrageous. I don't know. Is he trying to just keep the MSNBC audience happy? Because that's all that kind of talk is doing right now. To say that the conflagration is not a conflagration now is no longer working. It only works on true believers.
But they really think that this is a messaging problem, that they've done an awesome job. And if they just like talk to enough influencers or say that if they have Karine Jean-Pierre say the right thing, that the problem will disappear. We just have to explain to people what a great job we're doing. But the problem is they really want you to disbelieve the evidence of your own eyes, right? And your own experience at the grocery store and with your paycheck and your bank account. They're like, no, don't pay any attention to that. You're doing great. Your salary is better than ever. Everything's going fine. But I mean, they're just desperate at this point. They're throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks right now. That's why Biden has decided to launch a campaign against junk fees, which nobody ever mentioned until like 2 weeks before the election. All of a sudden, we're all about junk fees. We've always cared deeply about junk fees. We're doing junk fees now. That's what we're going
to do more government.
And I see like liberals repeating these talking points too, like, I'm gonna vote to support the president who's making sure I never get an overdraft fee again. Yeah, like, do they not think that these costs, like, the bank's gonna recoup the cost from you somewhere? Like, it's so stupid, junk fees.
Well, I mean, and it's also just an old-fashioned cynical play on class warfare, you know, saying you have not because the haves have too much.
Yeah.
Like, oh, God, listen to this.
You're poor because of junk fees.
This is an attack on Vermeer's famed girl with the pearl earring. Guys super gluing his head to it while they put tomato cans all over the painting.
How do you feel? How do you feel when you see something beautiful and priceless being apparently destroyed before your eyes?
This is my feeling on these guys. First of all, you've now got me standing on the same side with douchey art dickheads who contemplate a piece of art for 45 seconds, you know, in some pretentious act as if it's freaking enjoyable at all. Now I'm standing with them.
Art is great, by the way.
No, it's not. It sucks.
Is.
No, it's not. And that's a fact. That's not an opinion. So now you've got these stupid dickheads now ruining the art for the climate. This is what I think needs to happen.
They're not actually ruining it, to be fair.
This is what I think needs to happen. Well, this guy has superglued his head to the art.
Yeah, but it's like got glass on it. It's
okay. This is what needs to be happening.
They're a pain, but they're not actually hurting the art.
I am not going to call for murder at all.
Okay.
But what I would put it this way: if you were somebody who was already planning to murder somebody,
you recommend them.
I would just ask you if you think perhaps you might want to look at some of these videos.
I like it, honey. Good idea. Yeah, I think these people are jerks. I think they're annoying. I think museums have enough to do without dealing with this. I mean, and the climate people in particular like to do these dramatic protests because they're worried like people don't care enough about the climate and carbon and all that stupid stuff. The thing is, like, you can get out and actually do something about that. Elon Musk has done more to help with that stuff than any of them ever will. Now, I think some of Elon's stuff is misguided. I think, like, a lot of this stuff, the batteries are going to be even more, damaging to the environment in the long term, possibly, than, burning the carbon fuels in the first place. But, there are people working on innovative solutions to real things that make things more efficient and that people want to buy, like Tesla cars, because they want them more than a different car. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you can get out and do something real if you care about the environment so much that does something productive. But the solution to any of these things is not going to come from climate protesters and the UN and all the governments of the world signing the Paris Climate Accords and all this stupid stuff. It's going to come from people providing innovative solutions to real problems that do actually save energy. I mean, people doing remote work must help emissions a ton, wouldn't you think?
Mm-hmm.
I bet remote work has like saved a ton of carbon from being put into the atmosphere, right? I would think. I don't know. We definitely drive way less at our house, but
Not today.
no, that's true. We have
Didn't
a lot
get
of
a drive
driving
into
today.
didn't get a drive into the gym today, unfortunately.
I know. We opted to do this instead, so that we would not be doing it at 8:00 at night, because that was the other alternative, because we have a solidly packed schedule today. I don't know. Yeah, I think the Democrats are screwed in the midterms. I had a great time last night. There was a ton of energy at this Jeff Deal event. It was so good. I think what do you mean? Why are you laughing?
I'm sorry. I'm looking at this picture that Only in Boston tweeted of a car, and spray painted on the side of it is the word cheater. What do you think I think about the woman who spray painted that?
That she's mean?
No.
That she's hot?
Yes.
Did you think I was hot when I threw the phone at you?
Part of me. Well, I mean, first of all, I was in a live or die situation, so we had a rabid.
I got a few questions about that at the event last
Did you
night,
really?
by the way, about the incident. One was why you didn't move the second time I threw it.
That's a valid question.
Like, why didn't you take some preventive measure after
Now,
I
a second
threw
ago,
the phone?
she held her phone up and whipped it at my head. Now, she seems to be doing the same thing. I wonder what the outcome of this time will be. I do believe in doing the same thing again and again, expecting different results. I am a believer in that. There's no way she goes for two of these. It's flying towards me in a blur at a fast rate.
So that was one question. The next question was if I was afraid you would retaliate.
By the way, whoever said that, excellent victim blaming. He should have moved after the first time. He had the chance to move.
Well, he also asked if
Who's he? Smarless?
No, not Fred Smarless. He doesn't listen to the podcast, I don't think.
Yeah.
No, a friend of the show asked if I was afraid you would retaliate.
Are you?
No.
Yeah. There's been several assaults in this house, and it's always one person onto the other person.
Well,
that one 10 years ago, or whatever that was, when you tossed me across the room, that was like your fall here, except mine was man-made.
I think alcohol was a factor in your
Doesn't
way of
sound
falling.
like
And mostly that was not an
plausible.
assault. I just rebuffed you when you were trying to sexually harass me. I pushed you away.
We signed a compact called our marriage.
Well, you were trying to grope me, and I just pushed you away, and you dramatically fell into my dresser.
It's only a grope
like,
if you decided post facto that it was. I didn't know. There are times when you welcome advances.
I think I was brushing my teeth or something at
Well,
the bathroom
apparently,
sink. I was just standing there minding my own business, not trying to be groped.
I have not embraced you like that for 10 years, Alice, because I was thrown across the room.
Okay, well, I was not scared that you would escalate the situation, which was the question. So.
That is correct.
And he was like, not even a little? And I was like, no.
I don't have confidence that I could beat you in a fight. I don't.
But
I cannot beat you in a fight. They had me at karate 2 days ago. They had all the parents do one push-up. First of all, I was terrified that I wouldn't be able to get up off the mat at all. But
thanks to Awaken 180.
That is true. But that one push-up was, there was no one push. The down part I got, fine, but that was it.
Yeah, and then he said that he wouldn't hit anybody, but that, there would have been an escalatory, shouting at least would have happened.
Oh, we can meet.
No, but you didn't, get up out of the chair and, start yelling at me or something.
Well, no, it was high entertainment for the crowd, even the guy with blood all over his face.
So anyway, that was that. And then he pointed out that it must be because you weren't Italian at all.
Yeah, there's something to that, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, that's this. The Anglo-Saxons just take their misandry beatings as just part of life's.
You guys
events.
haven't evolved to deal with this because WASP women don't act like this either. Really, I think.
No, absolutely not. My goodness. Possibly a fiery letter or like a bit of sarcasm at the tennis court. But this is yeah, no, I'm new to this, Alice. What a welcome. I hope to enjoy it escalating through the years.
Good.
All right.
Good.
What else?
Are there any chat messages before we go? Because we got to run pretty soon.
I didn't look. Hold on. Oh, there are. Here we go.
I've always been intrigued by the saying, with all due respect.
Mm-hmm.
It's always usually followed by but.
A slam.
And then that's when you hit them with the blow.
Right.
Like that's supposed to soften things. Like
well, you know what it means.
Go, with all due respect.
It's a disclaimer. It allows you to say something horrifically raw and cold to somebody. So I have no problem with it.
Yes, punish me, Daddy. That's it. Pull my hair. Yeah, get the crop. Whip me.
That's from the title of yesterday's podcast.
I think that's Roslyn.
What did you say?
I said, lock me down harder, Daddy. That's what liberals are like.
Ooh, Alice. This is virtual porn.
Hi, Alice. It's Steve from Merrimack.
Hi, Steve.
No, I've never been in a threesome either. And I've never done coke just like you. And I've certainly never done coke during a threesome. Oh, you and I with all this clean living. We're just two peas in a pod. Thank you.
So true, Steve.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate your vote of confidence in mine.
Is that what that was, Alice? Is that what that was?
I choose to take it at face value.
I believe this. Steve is the human lie detector, and he is correct on that. Actually, I've had moles reach out to me over the last 24 hours with details.
Really?
Indeed. A certain Lexington theater, right downtown. Goings on. I'm just saying.
Incorrect.
Just saying.
Thank you so
much. Do
much.
you need to know what theater I'm talking about?
I know what the theater's called.
Yeah, you do.
There's only one theater in downtown Lexington. You weirdo.
Oh my goodness. He is onto something. Look at this. Oh.
It's okay. You know what? Leave chat messages.
You know what? The veneer's gone.
Burn,
I welcome it. I welcome it, Alice. A lot of people,
it's just not true, though.
A lot of
That's
people had very exciting young lives.
It's not true, though. It's just not true. That's all.